All right, Alexander, what market are you in again? Miami?
Miami, yes.
And you called an appraiser. You and I just started a few minutes ago, joined together, and right away you called an appraiser, and you booked a meeting super fast. Today you're having lunch with the attorney and the appraiser, but at first the appraiser was just going to text you the attorney's number.
Yeah, he already texted me that. I already have the number. I just didn't want to call the lawyer. I say, or the attorney, I say, no, 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 let's go together because it's not the same that I call him and I say, hey, your friend such and such, you give me your number, that when we go together and we speak,
That's
because
exactly
if we
right.
go together, you are vouching me.
You
That's
get
exactly.
very you. I'm so glad that you got it so fast because if you would have just called the attorney, say no thanks, good luck, have a good day.
Yeah.
But now the appraiser is going physically with you, and then you do have the credibility. And the appraiser knows the attorney because he's doing probate transactions for the attorney.
I don't know. I think that okay, this appraiser, they're probably friends because this appraiser he is from Haiti and the lawyer is Haitian too.
Wonderful,
Mhm.
wonderful. So today I'm going to send you this recording. I'm going to give you some questions because um, you're going in a few hours to this event,
Mhm.
and you haven't ever sat with an attorney presenting an idea.
Yes.
There's two parts to this meeting. The first part is all about them and nothing about you. And it's they don't care about you. They care about themselves. And he's not going to go, you know what? I'm going to start giving you all my probate deals because you're a nice guy and you know Bob, the appraiser. It's not going to go that way. However, it's two parts. First part of the meeting will be you asking a series of questions, and I'll send this to you. You can write them down and just make sure that you're controlling the narrative, you're controlling the conversation if you ask questions. You think about a 6-year-old, Daddy, can I have this? Daddy, can I have this? Daddy, who's controlling the narrative? One who's asking the questions. And
Yeah.
they don't stop, they don't relent. But when can we go to the ice cream store? Can I get vanilla when we go there? Can I get a large? The child is controlling the narrative. A prosecuting attorney asking somebody in the witness chair controls the narrative. A therapist talking with a patient one on one controls the narrative. We as account executives got to control the narrative, and we're going to first ask questions about them. Part two will be, by the way, I do hold a real estate license here in Florida. What we're not going to do is, I've been with EXP for 700 years. I did 900 million last year. No,
Mhm.
we are not there to do that. This is a first date. We haven't done this 12 times with a dude. By then he'd give us business. But so let's go back to part one. When the probate attorney woke up this morning, they have transactions on their mind, just like a realtor does if you've got actives or pendings. But also, what's on their mind is, I need to expand my business. The probate attorney is no different than a realtor. The appraiser is no different than a realtor. Everybody wants to expand their business until they cry uncle, like I can't handle anymore.
Mhm.
And everybody says, I want more until I hit my peak portfolio. For you, Alexander, that might be 5 pending listings at one time because you're not set up for 20 pendings.
Mhm.
Agents go, I want 20. No, you don't. You don't know how to handle 20 yet. It's there's a lot of problems with the more volume you have, the more problems you have. But let's just say your peak portfolio of pendings is 4. You can live at 48 a year, and you're really happy with 48 closings. This attorney represents 7 to 10 of those. If you become one of the preferred agents from this private attorney, he's already got 4 or 5 other ones. We just want a piece of the pie. But over the coming years, your job is to eliminate all the other realtors. Because if you do life with this attorney, and that life is going to a ball game, Miami Dolphins, going to a baseball game, a football game, a volunteer event, or a training event where probate attorneys go fishing together, go bowling, go frisbee golf. How to Win Friends and Influence People, written in 1936, is what we do. So what's at stake at this interview? $100,000 a year for the next 5-7 years. So what are we going to ask? So it's going to be, when he woke up this morning, what was he thinking about? He's thinking, I need a golden goose, just like you do. You want one attorney, give you 7-10 deals, and you're going, this is great. So what's a golden goose to a probate attorney? If you had to guess, who sends business, whose clients die every month? That's a professional that, if you were probate, Alexander, where would you look to network? Who do you think would be a good person to network with if you were a probate attorney, not a realtor? Who do you think that would be?
People who send me clients.
But who's professionally? Who would that be professionally?
A realtor would be a good people. A doctor.
The realtor is going to be at the bottom of the list, because we don't know people who died.
I would say a doctor.
Yeah, a CPA.
Well, yes, a CPA too.
With 1,000 clients. 3% of their clients are going to die this year. How about 2 CPAs? If you literally were running a probate office and you said, I want to get another 50 deals a year, the attorney goes, I can do 50 more. Well, how's he going to do them? Well, you're the answer. If you ask him, if I can introduce you, this is part of your presentation. If I could introduce you to a professional whose clients need your services, Bob, would that be a CPA, an estate planner, or a financial planner, or maybe a trust attorney? Of those groups, you literally want to ask them, not who do you want to be introduced to? Don't ask them that. They won't know. They go, I don't know. I have to think about it. No, you give them specifics. Then they can answer the question, which is what attorneys do when you're in the witness chair. They're very specific. They're not looking for yes, no. They're looking for a story, some kind of answer. So your job as an interrogator, as an interviewer, is to control the narrative and ask questions that people will elaborate on. Bob, I'm Alex Hernandez. We're so glad to be sitting down. I'm so glad that Ted, the appraiser, once you start into your questions, the last thing we're going to do is don't even bring any business cards. Don't bring any cards. You will not be tempted when you think things went well. You'll be tempted to give your card. We can't look like a realtor. What we have for you is a mosaic book after the meeting, and it's going to recap what you just did. Have you seen a mosaic books just yet?
The one that is on online?
Yeah, let me show you this real quick, because then I want to make sure that we're staying the course here with your key questions. And a mosaic book looks like this. Let's see if I can find one with the cover on it. Well, this is the book for Dallas, and here it is. So we want one for Miami. You're part of the Business Development Coalition in Miami.
Okay.
And again, you're going to get this recording. It's important that you're not a realtor with EXP, or you are, But your real job is, I'm part of the Business Development Coalition here in Miami. We're going to get you a book that looks just like this with you on the cover. After the meeting, you're going to send it to him, the attorney, and there'll be you speaking.
I am attempting to secure a new primary account in this quarter. I appreciate your time and expertise.
But it'll be with your voice, your cadence, your accent, and you're going to
Okay.
send it to the attorney after your meeting. Now, this is one you send to vendors, not to a golden goose. But we're going to get you a different one. Because this, again, you would have given this book to the appraiser. There's a
Okay.
different book to give, because the message is different to the attorney. So, and then your business card will be on the back, which talks about you being, we're actually going to put something here, that you're running the Business Development Coalition for Miami.
All right.
We just can't look like we're realtors. So one of your first key questions you want to ask him is, Bob, I got a question for you as a probate attorney. If I were to introduce you, not to a family that needs probate, but a CPA, a financial planner, an elder law attorney, a retirement home director, who's the best introduction for you to give you 5 or 10 probate deals a year? I bet he's never been asked that question. By a realtor, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
What we want him to see you as an extension of his marketing plan for his company. Now, you don't know any CPAs right now, or estate planner attorneys or trust attorneys. We didn't say you knew them. We asked, who's a good introduction for you? And this is what I do, says Alexander. I help people get what's called a golden goose, if you will. Everybody wants a golden goose. Everybody wants an account. Now, you want to see where that conversation goes. You're ordering food. There'll be a waiter, waitress interrupting you. There'll be noise around you. But most realtors, they assume, I've got to pitch me. Again, that's like going on a first date and pitching, her all about you. It's like, no. Yeah, gag me. I don't want to hear all about you. So the goal is, let's learn about this other person, about their practice. What are they looking for? Who do you want to be introduced to? Because that's what I do, Alexander says. And I'd love to introduce you to, you want 3 CPAs, somehow to grow your business. And then ask, by the way, do you also do like divorce and wills and trusts? Do you do that as well? Let him talk. Let him talk about himself and take notes. Don't sit there. And I can see now you're taking notes. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
When the attorney's talking, show him you're listening. Take notes. Okay. That's interesting. CPAs and financial planners are the best one to introduce you to. By the way, do you do wills and trust? Do you do divorces? Or is your specialty? And he goes, you know what, Alexander, I don't do divorce, but I want to get into that. The reason I know that, one of our other agents, the probate attorney, said that. He goes, I want to expand my business into divorce, not just probate. So I'm like, well, that's a good question to ask a probate attorney. And another question would be, by the way, do you own the company, or are there like 3 or 4 of you that are partners? Because if he goes, no, there's 7 of us, you're done. All you got to do is get this account. where he introduces you to his partners at his office. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We guys gotta just get through lunch today. And by the way, were you bringing your business cards or not?
No.
Very good, very good. I was just testing you. I'm just testing you. Yeah, yeah, because it's not about you. And agents are like, can I give you a stack of my cards? No, don't give it. Because we have that mosaic thing you're going to send to him, which is far better.
Mhm.
There's 4 learning styles: visual, seeing, hearing, touching, and doing. And your mosaic book covers all 4 of those. A business card, there's one, you read it, and there's no emotional value there. But we're going to put you probably on the beach in Miami in one of these videos with a golden retriever around you, because everybody likes golden retrievers. Not everybody, but for the most part. We're going to make you look different than a realtor. And because I, like you, I want to get that account.
Okay.
And then because your second account's much easier when you get your first one, because you figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do, I taught my son this when he was little. If you don't know what to say next, ask a question. If they say something to you, ask a follow-up question. Bob, can you elaborate on that? Bob, how many are there? How long have you been doing this? Do you still find yourself really enjoying it? Just be a good date. Talk about them.
Yeah.
And at some point, Alexander, he might say, tell me about you. Part 2 just started.
Mm-hmm.
We want him to go, tell me about you. And you go, well, here's my card. I'm with EXP. Nope. Right. No, it's, you know what? Well, we work with, because you and I are in the same organization, the Agent Wealth Project. So when I say we, you can borrow my credentials. We
Mm-hmm.
work with hedge funds, elder law attorneys, probate, relocation companies. We help people make financial decisions. I'm an asset manager. I happen to hold a real estate license. Whether it's hedge funds or families in transition in probate, I help them liquidate the asset. Doesn't sound like a thing like a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
That was a 30-second vignette that I just did. We work with hedge funds, relocation companies, probate attorneys, elder law, and I help people make financial decisions. I happen to hold a real estate license. I'm an asset manager. I help people sell homes, buy homes, make financial decisions. I mean, if you time that, I bet it was about 30 seconds I said that.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you told them something about you. And now maybe he wanted to know if you had a dog or kids or anything like that. But let's assume he wanted to know what you do professionally. I operate the Business Development Coalition for Miami. And like you saw the picture of the guy in Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
people want to be part of a business development coalition, but not a networking group with a realtor. It just isn't sophisticated enough. Another realtor trying to get me to join a group. We're there to help them grow their business very sincerely. Now, I'll tell you later in a different recording, how do you start meeting CPAs? And I'll give you the 30-second version. You go to a loan officer or to a networking event, Chamber of Commerce. The beautiful thing about a Chamber of Commerce is they're just standing there. the CPA, the financial planner, sometimes a probate attorney, with a plate in their hand, a food, and a drink in the other hand. It's called a networking event. And there's no gatekeeper. You walk right up to them. Now, loan officers, I love loan officers. If you asked a loan officer, would you rather do mortgages, referrals from realtors, or CPAs? It's a trick question. It's CPAs, because loan officers don't really like realtors. I used to coach. I had a coaching company called the LO Genius, and loan officers are from Mars and we're from Venus. And we think about buyers. We don't think about buyers all the time. We think listings. So loan officers say a realtor will give out 3 business cards of LOs. A CPA will give out 1. A CPA will recommend that one loan officer and that family will refi or get the mortgage through them, because a CPA is different than a realtor. So if you're a loan officer, you want 5 or 10 CPAs, not 5 or 10 realtors. You don't mind the realtors, but CPAs, it's a better referral because it's your CPA versus the realtor.
Yeah.
And the CPA is what I call an influential advisor. If your CPA said, I'd use this guy, you're probably gonna use that guy. If the probate attorney says to a family, I'd use Alexander, I'm gonna have him call you. That's an influential advisor. This is why we don't need 1,200 people in our CRM. We need 12. We need 12 influential advisors, and you have more business than you can handle. Because if they're all 12 probate attorneys, it's all you need. I mean, if you got 1, you got 5 a year out of 12 people, that's 60 deals. The bar's not really high. We went 7 to 10 deals. I'm going to drop it to 5 for just a second here. If you have 5, you have 10 people giving you 5 deals. And Miami has, what, 500 probate attorneys? All you need is 5 to give you 5 deals. You get 25 deals, 2 a month. 5 of them who give you 4 deals, 20 deals a year. All we need is a few introducers, which are the appraisers. Our job is find introducers to take us to a golden goose. So we have to interview well with the introducer, interview well with the golden goose, interview well with the home seller. We are professional interviewers. If given the opportunity and they send you in and the house is $1 million, you better get it. If the attorney refers you and the family chose a different realtor, and it's your 3rd time in a row you didn't get the listing, you may call somebody else. Which means how much, I don't mean this sincerely, but to any agent who's watching this, how much have you practiced your interview again and again and again and again until you're bored and sick of hearing it yourself? That you go through that interview 50 times, do it again, do it again. Is your interview for the seller full of questions, or are you talking always in the interview? Let me tell you about me. I'm going to help you do this. My accolades. We are therapists in a way on the listing interview. So the $1 million house, they don't list it for 1.4. Because listings are like part-time jobs. You don't get paid for if it expires. But they expect you to work every day for all those months. Which means, what's the number one thing that somebody should study? Pricing interviews. Again and again. Show the data. Anticipate the objection. We'll walk you through this in the future. How to present data. We call it safe records. Sold, actives, failed, expireds, withdrawn, canceled, and then everything under contract. There's an order to present safe records Most people think it's solds. You don't start with solds. Those are the last things you look at. And you may not even need sold records, which agents are not going to believe it. You could even do, I only use sold records if necessary. If you show the expired listings around the subject property during your listing interview, here's a Remax listing that was a mile away. After 400 days, it expired. You just eliminated Remax. Here's a Coldwell Banker listing they had after 190 days, dropped the price 3 times, and it didn't sell. Well, you're just telling the facts. You're not being mean to Remax or the other companies. You're just saying that brand had that listing for 187 days and it didn't sell. That's your seller interview. Most people think it's marketing, 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 marketing. You only talk marketing if necessary. Agents think you got to talk marketing. You don't have to talk marketing. I listed properties for decades, and I would tell sellers, I'm not a marketing genius. If you want a marketing genius, hire the other guy. I'm an asset manager. I'm here to help you make financial decisions. After this interview's over, if you want to go with a marketing genius, go with them. If you want to go with an asset manager, I'm here to determine and defend your value. You make the decision. Now, Alexander, that's what we're going to equip you with, so that when your cousin calls you to sell her house, but they're talking to 2 realtors because they have to do their homework, you've got to eliminate the other realtor, always. We never assume that your cousin's going to list with you because they know 2 realtors that are cousins, and somebody's going to lose. Every interview we do, we are asset managers, and that language needs to come through. Now, today it's not going to come through with your luncheon because you haven't been through the training yet on that.
Mm.
But you can keep in mind, you're dialoguing with the attorney and they're giving you feedback. And the key is, it's not always ABC, always be closing. You know, that's what they tell us. ABC, always be closing. No, always be thinking. You know, always be thinking, what's my next question? ABQ, always be thinking, what's my next question? What's my follow-up? Wow, that's interesting, Bob. And how long have you lived here then, in Miami? It's interesting, if you and I did a little game right now, I asked you a question. You have to respond back to me with a question. So here we go. We're going to role play for a second. Salsa lovers, man, what's that about? On your shirt.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question
Sure.
again?
Remember, you're going to, oh, you just asked me a question. That was great. that was great. So I'm going to ask you something, and you got to ask me back in the form of a question. And that is, salsa lovers on your shirt. What's that about?
So the thing is, I didn't understood the phrase social lever.
Your T-shirt says salsa lovers.
Oh, yes, it says salsa lover. And what's that important for you?
Wonderful. Why is it important to me? Well, in my refrigerator, I have just regular salsa. Have you heard of mac and jelly's salsa? Have you heard of that?
Mac and jelly. Yes, I heard about mac and jelly. Do you like a lot mac and jelly?
You know what? It's just kind of average. What have you? What would be? Do you know something like hot and spicy instead?
Uh-huh. Yes, yes. Well, now the salsa, it has to do with the dancing. Salsa lovers, you know the salsa dance?
That's
That's
funny. This whole time I thought it was salsa dip. Now, by the way, you did great. When I ask agents, I'm going to ask you a question. You've got to ask me something back. You got to look like they start laughing. They can't do it. It should be, they practice their golf swing, but not their questions.
But I think that's something in my nature because I remember since I was a boy, a friend of mine say, "What the heck, Alex? Every time I ask you something, you answer me with another question."
You know, if you want, if you look in scripture, anytime the Lord was asked a question, almost every time he responded with a question.
Oh, that's probably why. I used to be a pastor. That's something we didn't spoke before. Yes, I used to be a pastor for Assembly of God. Since I was 16 years old, I met the Lord when I was 16, and then I went to the seminar and all the stuff, and that's probably why in my nature is I'm always asking and asking instead of telling.
That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. So as we wrap up our call here, we covered part one of your interview.
Okay.
It's all about them. Part two of the interview, if they ask you, tell me about you. You know, it's almost like if they don't ask about you, we don't even have to go there today. Because what you're going to do, you're going to send the follow-up book, which will kind of go into more stuff.
Mhm.
Right? Yeah, don't worry about it. If you didn't get what you wanted to say about you, we're going to do it in the book
Okay.
with you standing on the beach and behind some high rise in Miami. We got two ways to have you look: one business, one casual.
Okay.
And that's going to be your opportunity to talk a little about you and in a follow-up, what's going to happen next. Now, then we talked about a little bit about three kinds of interviewing. Interview with your introducers, your appraiser,
Mhm.
then the golden goose, and then with sellers. So I'll send you this video. You can kind of unpack it. And so we put these videos onto the school, our academy. And if you go there, there's a whole lot of other videos of me doing what I'm doing with you with other agents. I would
Okay.
encourage you in our library, in the academy, click on it where it says coaching, where Brian's doing this, because
Mhm.
other people are asking other questions that you might find helpful if you watch my coaching time with somebody else. So we're going to put our time out there so people can see that, but you get to see everybody's coaching time. Okay.
Okay.
It'll sharpen you. So, okay. Any other questions or comments, thoughts?
Yes, in the middle of this interview, this is Miami, where I don't know. I have been dealing with a lot of Hispanic people that they always have this question: what's in it for me, or what's in it for you? So when I speak with this lawyer and I ask those questions, and he will probably will have, okay, and what's in it for you? What are you gaining on this? What should I answer to?
Well, you know what? I run the Business Development Coalition. That's a great question. I run the Business Development Coalition for here in the Miami area, and um, I introduce people, and I happen to hold a real estate license, and I help people, whether it's hedge funds or elder law attorneys, or retirement homes. When somebody has an asset to sell, and they're going to send out two real estate professionals, I'm often one of those two people on that list. At some point, by somebody like you, Bob, I'm introduced to families in transition. So you see, when somebody, that's a great thing you just asked. What do you do when somebody says, "What's in it for you?"
Mhm.
I I I I lead in this region. By the way, I'm the national director and you're one of the regional directors for the Business Development Coalition. And so because we work with hedge funds, they have assets to sell. And occasionally they'll send out 2 realtors. I don't even like saying that word. 2 licensed professionals that hold real estate licenses. Maybe he goes, you mean realtors? Yes. But I look at myself more like an asset manager because I help people make financial decisions. What's in it for me is we help people move their assets, make financial decisions. And, maybe down the road, if you have an opportunity where you're sending 2 realtors out on an assignment, and he might even correct you and go, well, I wouldn't send 2, I would just send you. And you're going to hear that. It's called the erroneous conclusion. If you ask a question of somebody, that they will sometimes correct you to your favor. When you send out 12 realtors, because he'd correct that. Bob, when you send out like 12 realtors to a seller who's got a house to sell, well, he'd correct it. Well, 12 is ridiculous. But sometimes you go, sometimes a probate attorney like yourself sends out 2 licensed professionals. And and he goes, no, I just sent out 1. I wouldn't put a competition against you. That was what's called a minor close. He just leaned in and said, you. But your question, what's in it for you? We want them to ask that.
Okay.
That's where you introduce part 2. And that is, by the way, if you're at home and you practice that again and again and again, when somebody says to you, so Alexander, what's in it for you? Is there a fee for this? Or what's in it for you? Ideally, you practice it 20 times before lunch today. Do it again, do it again, do it again. So it comes off authentic and right on. Where he goes, wow, that's a pretty good reason. I walked out of meetings like this with a listing referral at the luncheon or at the board meeting. I've been doing it for a while, but I know how to have that conversation without ever asking for business. Remember, he already has probate deals to give you at your lunch.
Yeah.
It's not like he doesn't have anybody. He's got somebody today to give to you, but he probably won't. But when you send your follow-up mosaic book, he might say, I've got somebody for you. I'm going to share my screen here, and we kind of need to wrap up because I gotta go in a couple minutes here. But I'm going to share my screen because I found, here we go, share screen. Here's a book we're doing for somebody in Southwest Florida. Patrick, he's with us, and it looks like this. Southwest Florida Business Development Coalition. The primary goal is growth and acquisition of new accounts, serving Southwest Florida, like you would have serving Miami and the surrounding areas.
Okay.
Amber and Joe, I oversee the Business Development Coalition for the Southwest Florida market. There is no cost to this. We work with probate and divorce attorneys plus assisted living and retirement communities. Our goal is to see if we can introduce you to families who have. Ideally, we can get together soon at a local cafe. My goal is to meet you face to face to find out your ideal client and the best way to introduce you. Plus, I would love to learn more about your business. Our next step is simple. Let's sit down and talk about your business and a bit about life. If you can.
So this is not for the probate attorney. This would be for your introducer, the appraiser.
Okay.
Now, he already got you introduced. You don't need it. But what are your thoughts on a scale of 1 to 10? Do you like this idea as like a 1 or a 2, or more like a 9 or a 10? If we had you in the video.
If I have who? If I
we
have
have you, if we have you in the video, do you like this idea?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a very good idea. Yes.
Okay. Well,
Yes, it's a very good idea.
great.
One more question. I know that you have to leave. I used to, in the 35 years that I have been living in this city, sometimes when you're struggling, you have to do whatever you have to do to survive. And I worked for 2 years in a funeral home, and I know several funeral directors. Do you think it's a good idea to talk with funeral directors too, since they know a lot of people?
Here's the answer to that. When you do a sit down with a funeral director,
Mhm.
is to ask their opinion of the idea of what you're doing. We're not going to ask for any business. You're going to, we'll do a follow-up call on this, but with the funeral director, it isn't to ask for business. Again, we're never asking for business because people will reciprocate when they see what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's basically the funeral directors, when you're sitting down with them, you want to be able to say, Bob, what's your opinion on what I'm doing? I work, in this environment. I've transitioned to the Business Development Coalition. I work with private attorneys and hedge funds and retirement homes, elder law. What do you think of this? What's your thought? They're going to say it's a great idea, but they love the fact that you ask their opinion.
Okay.
Most of the people in your CRM, you got VC and PC. VC are vendor contacts, and PC are personal contacts that are not getting accounts anyway. They're not looking for accounts. What you just asked about would be, how do you present to people in your CRM? It's, I have this idea. Can I meet you at Starbucks? I want to get your opinion. And when you're sitting with 5 of your friends next week at Starbucks in a stacked meeting, one at 9, one at 10, one at 11, one at 12, by the time you're done with meeting with 3 or 4 or 5 people, just asking them, what do you think? Heck, I just want to see what you think. Ask them what they think of what you're doing. And they might go, well, my sister-in-law is an attorney. I could probably get you in there. Oh, my brother-in-law, he's an appraiser. My sister, she runs an estate liquidation company. The purpose of the sit down with, I don't care if you're at Denny's, some kind of restaurant, where you're sitting with somebody, you just want to get their opinion of what you're doing in real estate. And to see through questions, does it trigger for them? Oh, yeah. My brother-in-law runs an attorney firm. There's like 50 attorneys in his law firm. We don't go for it. Can you give him my business card? No. Don't even ask for an introduction. Not yet. But do some life experiences with those people that are in your CRM. And even if the guy goes, there's 50 people in the law firm and it's their brother, we are not asking. We're taught, always ask to be introduced, always ask for a referral. People see us as pushy. And it's like, you know what? We're not that good of a friend for me to keep referring you business. I like you, but I know 12 realtors. And you got a license yesterday. And I already know 12 agents because everybody knows a bunch of agents. Unfortunately, we're taught always keep asking for referrals. It's like, we don't have a deep enough relationship with people to have earned that. But I'm trustworthy. I'm kind. It's why we have in our school the Speed of Trust book. People think they're trustworthy, but other people don't perceive you that way. And when you read the Speed of Trust in our academy, you're just like, that makes sense. So how do you become more trustworthy? Well, you got to read the Speed of Trust. And you go, it's really an eye opener to go, but people may not perceive me that way. How do I earn their trust, which is the point of the book? Ask more questions. Don't ask for anything. Just be a giver. You probably know this phrase. It's better to give than it is to
get
Pastor
to
Alexander. Better to
yeah.
give than it is to receive.
To receive. Yes. Yes.
So I tell you what, I've got somebody in the waiting room. It's been a pleasure. We'll get you a copy of this. I got to get through this next call.
Okay.
All right, my
Thank
friend.
you.
It was great
Have
talking
a
to you.
wonderful day.
All right, thank you.